Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So we are nearing the end of the series, kind of. We have I think we have 5 seasons left pretty much of this franchise mode, which means we should be able to hit the end of the series before NHL 24 drops, I think. But it's been, I'd say, in my opinion, the series has been probably my most disappointing series, aside from Asher Vance being a great goal scorer. There's a lot to dislike about this series, in my opinion. I know I'm kind of talking myself down a bit. The series has had some good moments for sure, but the fact that this team just keeps on struggling in the playoffs and has only won one Stanley Cup has kind of made this not as fun as I was hoping for. But obviously we're going to go right till the end, because obviously Asher Vance still has to play out his career and all that type of thing, so I'd like to see all that. But yeah, I'm hoping that this offseason we could probably still add some more good players via the draft, and we could still build up this team even more so for next season. I think this team definitely has it in them in terms of overall rating to be a good team, but we need to, obviously, the game to give us a little bit of luck as well, because for some reason, and when it comes to the playoffs, we just can't get out of the first or second round, and we've only been to the Stanley Cup Finals the one time, and we won the Stanley Cup. So I'm really hoping that we could turn the tides in these last remaining seasons and at least get one more Stanley Cup. If not, this series will probably go down as one of the most disappointing series I've done in a long time. Probably since my Montreal series I did back in NHL 20, I think it was. But anyways, before we get into the draft and resign stage, I do have a couple comments to go over from Michael Dose. The first one says, another disappointing season in playoffs. Need to hope for better defense and goaltending next season, and I hope so as well. The defense and the goaltending has just, I don't know what it's been. For some reason, it's just been really questionable in terms of the last few years. I don't know if it's the decline of guys like Burnstrom or what, but it has not simulated well since we've brought in guys like a Chuck. That's why I brought in Carter to help with the defensive play. So I'm hoping that he could still do good, considering he's going into the last year of his contract, and then who knows, maybe we won't be able to afford him. But I think with the uprise of guys like Kaupinen and stuff like that, it should help out our team quite a bit. But at the same time, I don't really know what it takes to turn this team into a contender. We have a legit starting goaltender and overall rating, but he just doesn't simulate like an overall starting goaltender. So we definitely need to rework our team a little bit, maybe more on the bottom six sort of things. Maybe that will help us simulate better defensively. But for right now, I honestly don't know what the answer is for this team. And then the last comment from Michael says, bring back all three in Brossoit, Wharton, and Burnstrom, I say. Also like Hawley as a pick, but need to move up to get him. So he wants to bring back all three of the big guys that are up for renewal in Brossoit, Wharton, and Burnstrom. I would be willing to bring them all back. I hope that I have enough cap space, because Brossoit is probably going to get around the same amount as he did last year, to be honest. Wharton's going to be the one that's going to be probably the most pricey out of the bunch, because he was only making $6 million before. He wants almost like a max term deal, so I'm hoping that he's not going to be relatively expensive or not. I hope that we could just kind of lock him up maybe for the rest of the series, because I know he's going to be the type of guy that could sit up Vance for a decent amount of time. And then yeah, Burnstrom as well, being a pending UFA, kind of sucks, but yeah, his asking price is going to be half of what he was making before, so hypothetically we should be able to bring all of them back. But obviously, at the same time, bringing back Burnstrom, I don't know if it's going to handicap our defensive core a bit, because we do got guys in the AHL that could make the jump as well. But obviously, we want Burnstrom to kind of retire with this team, considering he was drafted by us so many years ago. So anyways, there was that. And he said to move up in the draft to take, what was the guy's name? Hawley, I think? Yeah, Hawley. So let's take a look at the draft class. We do have a high up pick, likely enough, because of the Pittsburgh Penguins trade we made last offseason. We did trade away our own first round pick, though. So he said move up to get Hawley at number 1. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if we could try and trade up for number 1. I think we might be able to, because we should be able to give up our pick, which I think was number 6. We moved that. We moved one of the medium league goalie prospects, or multiple of them. We move a second round pick or something like that. We should be able to get them. Mind you, there is some good players in later rounds as well that I wouldn't mind grabbing. I think it was... Yeah, it was James, for example. This guy's just a 7th round pick. I want this guy definitely. I think it was Walters was the other guy. Maybe not Walters. Who was the other dude? Oh, yeah, it might have been Matt Gerard here. Because Matt Girard's like almost like 1 year out. That would be a really nice pickup in the second round. So getting rid of our second rounder for this year might not be something I want to do, but next year's second rounder I definitely can do if I have that still. So we will definitely try and hold on to our second rounder, but I could give up our high up pick, some elite goalie prospects that we're not going to use, that type of thing. Because we got a logjam of goalies, so might as well like use some of them as trade value instead. So there is that. Let's get into this draft and see if we can move up to number 1. Because if we can move up to number 1, maybe that will change the complexion of our offensive core, and then we'll have also like a good replacement for Vance. Not that Coburn isn't the type of guy that will take that spot, but Hawley should be a lot better in a sense than Coburn, just because he's like a power forward as well. He is probably, I think, a better overall wise, because I'm pretty sure Coburn had like some B categories, so it'd be really nice to grab like a replacement for Vance and basically set this team up for maybe future success once this years are done here in this franchise mode. So let's get into the draft and see if we could trade up for number 1. I don't know if it's okay. Seattle does want to move the top pick. That's actually really helpful. I wish I could take a timeout here, but I can't. So I hope I can make a trade fast enough, because obviously we want to do a trade. So we'll move 6th. We'll give you guys our second rounder for next year, because I don't need my second rounder for next year necessarily. And how would you feel about an elite goalie prospect, huh? You like that? Okay, let's give you the one with the most value, which is Kudobin. Why didn't that add it? What the hell? Kudobin. You also had interest in Hanzus, but Hanzus... Actually, I could do Hanzus too, but I think I'm going to throw in a couple elite goalies into this if they don't want to accept this on its own. So, 6th overall, an elite goalie prospect in a second. That's rejected. Okay, let me add another elite goalie prospect that I don't need, because I have too much of them anyways. Let's give them Sasaki into the mix as well. I'm okay with giving multiple up. There you go. We moved up easily for the number 1 pick, because I got rid of a couple elite goalies. I honestly had no use for multiple elite goalies with the amount of goalies we already have, because like, look, we still have Boma, we have Marsh, who I could become something, and we still have Hanzus, so I think that's an okay move for our team to do. And yeah, now we have the 1st overall pick in the draft, so we are going to be definitely taking Hawley here. That's the first time I've actually successfully moved up to the 1st overall pick when I didn't have it. The fact that we were able to do that, though, is pretty awesome, considering we technically didn't even have a lottery pick in this year, but since we traded for Pittsburgh's pick, we had a lottery pick, and then we were able to flip that into the 1st overall pick. So that's a lot of smart decisions in the last few years, I think. And Johnny Hawley is going to be joining the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's definitely going to help out our offensive scoring quite a bit, I think. So welcome aboard, Johnny Hawley, even though we don't know if Stokes is good. Like, Stokes might be better, who knows, but Johnny Hawley is the man. And he's an 80 overall only, which is kind of lower than I expected, but at least he has X factors, and yeah, he's going to definitely be jumping to our NHL team right away next season, and hopefully providing some good offense. It's kind of cool that he wears number 72, so he's almost like Panarin when Panarin was in Chicago. So there we go. We'll see what Seattle is going to take with the Pittsburgh 6th overall. They want to trade that pick now too, which is kind of funny. So I guess Seattle, obviously being more of a contending team, doesn't have any use for these top 10 picks, but maybe they'll be able to trade that pick and then turn it into something good. So I think that trade benefits both teams quite a bit. Let's see what Vancouver gets at number 2. They are going to take Stokes, who's a 79 overall power forward, so basically the same type of thing as Hawley, but a little bit lower overall wise. There is what he looks like. Let me just compare the shooting for a second. Yeah, Hawley's a little bit better of a shooter, but they're very similar players. Nashville at 3 takes Klesla, who's as good as our top pick. Interesting. Was not expecting him to be that good. But there you go. There's Roman Klesla. And then Washington at 4 takes Chuko to top 6 forward. So that's why I wanted to move up into the top 3, because I didn't want to get a top 6 forward prospect. I'd rather get a great elite player. Like, this guy's going to be a solid player nonetheless, but I'd rather get somebody that's going to be a more instant impact. And Collins goes to Colorado. Jimmy Collins, the first defenseman off the board. So there is your top 5 of the draft. Let's simulate up to our next pick. Actually, wait, at 55. That other guy was supposed to go at 43, right? Let's see. The guy I was looking at, which was Girard. Because I want to get Girard and Janes if possible. The other guys don't matter as much. Like, Solovyov's not going to be great, I don't think. Belak's a long shot, and he's still far away from being drafted. Janes I could grab with like a late pick. Girard, though, I have to trade up to 43rd in order to get him. So this would be 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So I'd have to trade into here. Let's see if the Flames are able to swing a deal with us here. Because I do have players I could, I guess, move. So we'll give up our own second rounder, obviously, because we're moving up quite a bit of spots in order to get it. And what else do they have interest in? Omens might pan out for us, so I don't want to move out him. They don't really have a lot of interest in our forwards or goaltenders even. I don't really want to give up another one of those elite goalies. So I don't think I'm going to be able to trade with the Flames here. I just want to make sure that it's a team that actually has interest in the stuff we're offering. So, because if there's any prospects that won't pan out, obviously I want to kind of move those type of things. So our second rounder for sure. What else could I move? There's always the question about moving like Hutton, for example. Because we do have guys in the system that could take his spot next season. He's a pending RFA as well, so they might have, like, they'll be able to resign him probably, which is good for them. I haven't really been sold on Hutton's play, but the thing is they'd be over in skaters. So I'd have to take a skater back that's not really that good. Let's see. So somebody like this Hay guy, for example. But I would prefer somebody on 1 year, like Son Tang. They'd be over the salary cap? Wow. They'd be over the salary cap, even though they were a non-playoff team, it seems like. Or maybe they actually just have a high up pick in this round. I don't really know. Let's try with Anaheim instead. We have at least a lot of time to try and make something work. It's Minnesota's second rounder, so it's not their original second. So we give up our own second rounder. Let's go add that. And then we also want to give them what else? Let's see. I think I'm almost okay with giving up Emiliano Hutton in this type of deal. Because sure, he's going to be an okay defenseman. He was... How was he this season for us? Yeah, he was a big liability in the defensive zone. That's why I'm thinking about moving him. Minus 22 in the regular season. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. And of course we get interrupted because this game still has that. But I hope that NHL 24 at least has that fixed, because that's kind of annoying. But yeah, I think we should be able to make that change here. Let me see here. Because, like, yeah, like I said, with the defensemen in the system, like Odie Marchessault, Frigon, for example, Bonino, those guys, I think one of them could easily jump into our lineup. So, and I don't think Hutton's ever going to get into our top four as a full-time defenseman. So, I think he might have a better shot playing for the Ducks than with us, too. So, I think I'm willing to do Hutton in the second, if they want to accept it. It might be a bit of an overpay in a way. So maybe I could take back another, like, 7th round pick or whatever, so we could grab another one of those little leads. Yeah, let's take another 7th round pick into this deal too. Why not? That should be able to get it done. So we move up 15 spots, we give up a defenseman, and we get an extra 7th rounder. And that's accepted, so there you go. We have made another interesting type trade, but it does help us in terms of getting ourselves another elite prospect, or a couple elite prospects into our team, because now we're going to be able to draft Matt Girard likely, and then Janes we should get with our 7th rounder easily. We should be also able to draft Belak with the 7th rounder. We might be able to draft some of the other low leads too, who knows. But I like this quite a bit. So let's move to our next pick and see if we're able to snag up the guy we wanted, which I think we should be able to. Yep, Matt Girard still there on the clock, which is great. So welcome aboard, Matt Girard from Ruyun Noranda. This guy should be pretty good out of the draft. He's a guaranteed low lead. He looks like he's going to be, I'd say, at least a 70 overall. He's a good goal scorer, and he's a right winger too, which is something we don't really have a whole lot of. And he's got superstar abilities. So Matt Girard, welcome to Chicago. 69 overall. Damn, that's really good. He's only 18. Really good X Factor categories as well. Solid shooting, not the best yet, but obviously if it develops for 1 year, he should be a really good NHL player at some stage before the series ends. So there's a really nice one for us to move up and grab that guy. Now let's sim to our next pick at 99, because I guess, when is 99? Third round still? 2 fourth rounders. We might be able to grab all the rest of the lowlights and then just auto sim the rest of this draft, to be honest, if it's not that deep. I kind of want to grab all those lowlights if possible. I don't really want to take on a guy with 3 years. No thank you, Pittsburgh, but I appreciate the offer. Will Dublowitz. I almost thought that was going to be like Wade Dublowitz. So I was like, what the shit? Okay, so only 2 of the elite guys are left on the board, so I guess we'll take Janes here early on. I think Janes deserves to go early on because he's 2 years out at 19. So Jordan Janes, welcome to Chicago as well. 69 overall low lead sniper as well. Jeez. No X factors, but that's a really nice pick. Not the best shooting category for a sniper, but I hope that he develops into being something useful for us in his remaining years, because that's a nice pick. Considering he was supposed to go in the 7th rounder. Like, imagine if we would have grabbed him in round 7. He would have been like a 69 overall 7th round pick with low lead potential. And we might as well take Belak already, because might as well. 49 overall. I don't know if this guy pans out before the end of this franchise mode, but still gives us more trade assets if we need to make trades, which is good. And I don't know if I want to do any more of this draft, to be honest. It's like a lot of bottom 6s and 7th Ds. I don't think there's any guys that could be low lead. There is maybe this enforcer. Maybe I'll just take him for the memes. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? 7th D. Jeez. An enforcer defenseman, too. I didn't realize he was a defender. Weird. You don't really see a lot of enforcer defensemen. Or defensemen, I should say. So there is that. I don't think I'm going to make any more selections. I'm probably just going to auto-sim it. Unless I want to just take chances on random guys that could be elite. Like Repic. Let's take Repic, why not? Bottom 6. Yeah, might as well just auto-sim the rest of this. It's pointless. Maybe I didn't even really need to trade for that 7th rounder, but oh well. So there's our draft anyways. We get Holly, which is great. Gerard, who should be great. Janes as well. Belak is going to take some time. Climbers, nothing really. Repic either. And then I don't really know about the other 2, but I'm assuming they're not really that great. But more prospects into our pool, which is nice. And like I said, Holly is going to be likely on the NHL team as early as next season. And I think I'm also going to let go of every single one of these coaches. So Kopitar, who won the Stanley Cup with us, Pavelski, and this AHL head coach, because I think we need to maybe wipe the coaching slate a little bit clean and try and get this team to have a new coaching staff that might help us find our identity a little bit more. So there's that. Let's get to the resign stage and see what we got. We got 52 million in cap space, which is great. We are already going to sign, like I said, Holly. And Bruce is ready for the AHL, so we're going to definitely sign Dallas Bruce up. And I'm also going to sign Omen up. And the rest, oh my goodness, Gerard and Janes could actually play in the AHL probably already. I do have the contract space, so I might as well give them already a chance. Usually I sign guys that are 70 plus, but 69, they literally could play in AHL and probably get a lot of growth within 1 year. So, and Hanzus is only, I think he's elite potential. We'll sign him up too. Give him more depth in the AHL. Because he's a 70. Okay, RFA-wise, we will qualify all these guys. Just because I normally qualify them all anyways. There we go. And I will also... Yeah, we'll give Marsh a 2-year deal. Why not? UFA-wise, this is where it's going to be interesting, though. So, let's start off with... Let's start off with Gustavo Blackburn. I don't think I'm going to bring him back. He was not great with us. Yes, we drafted him. We brought him back after 1 year. But I'm going to let him go, and maybe we'll find a better backup option or better goaltending in the free agent area. But yeah, Blackburn's gone. Let's go to the bottom of this list here of AHLers. Not going to sign you to your ELC. This low elite Benjamin Faith, when we draft him 5th round, might pan out to be something, but I don't really know if he will. But we will sign him already. Yeah, we'll sign him anyways, just because he's low elite. And we'll probably let go of a couple AHLers that have been here for a while. Like, probably somebody like Shea is gone and Hemingway, just to kind of free up some more roster actual line spots, in a sense. Vasakis, I don't need you. Holden, I'll sign you because why not? You're only a low top 6 though. Never mind, maybe not. I mean, you don't look like a terrible player, but still, I'm not going to sign you. I'm going to try and sign all these other guys to one-year deals for the AHL, just to make sure the AHL team still is relatively good with all the young additions. That way we can pair those old vets with young guys, and maybe they'll perform at a really good level, get a lot of growth, that type of thing. Sucks that Gustavo Blackburn never really panned out. He wants a one-way deal as a 76, which kind of sucks. I mean, he does have the attributes to being a really good NHL player, to be honest. So maybe we give him a one-year deal as a trial run. He did have 10 goals 2 seasons ago. So yeah, you know what? Maybe he'll be a depth forward for us. So we'll give him a one-year deal, even though our one-year one-way deal, just to see if he's able to find himself a little bit. And I think we're going to let go of Lawton as the depth defenseman. We're also going to let go of Forsberg as the depth forward. We could easily replace those type of guys. And then we should be able to sign all 3 of these dudes here. Ziska and Zubris is where it's going to be like, do I bring them back? I think Zubris I will. Ziska, I'm kind of questionable of bringing him back or not. Questioning if I should bring him back. Let's go Bressois first. What does Bressois want? Hey, that's reasonable. That's like almost exactly what he made last year. So let's do it. Let's do it. What about Wharton? I know he's going to be the most expensive. That's not terrible. Considering what he could do with Vance, I think I'm going to do something like that, to be honest. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's do it. Let's do it, Wharton. Might as well, because then it locks him up for the rest of the series. And then Burnstrom wants 2 years, but I'm going to give him a one-year deal. And yeah, we'll give him a little bit more than he wants, just because he's a good veteran, in a sense. He's not a good veteran, but he's been here a long time, so. Zubris, 3x3. You know what? That's fine with me, too. Take the money. And Ziska, what do you want? 1x2.35. I honestly might give them these guys some of the contracts, but in the offseason, maybe we'll make some trades involving these guys, but I will be just giving them the money that they're asking for right now, even though some of them might not deserve it. Let's see if anybody has rejected, which I think I saw a couple rejections in there, which is not ideal. Wardstrom, Burnstrom, Ziska, Zubris all rejected, and Corey. Wow, okay. Come on, Warden. I'll do 7 years. I'll give you 11 even. 7x11. I don't really care. I think this guy's an important piece for like the remaining years in the series. After what he showed me. Burnstrom, let's go 1 year. And I will give you 6.1. And then Ziska, you rejected as well. But lets me do 1 year at like 2.8. You should accept that. I have the cap flexibility, so might as well. And like I said, if I need to, I'll trade away some of these guys. Zubers is only 26, so I'm going to do a 3-year deal still. And we're going to try 3.5. Because that's not much of an overpay. Corey didn't want to accept his 2-way deals, so let's try and give him a max 2-way deal. Which is over $1 million at this stage. So there, a little advance today to see if all those guys accept. There was a rejection in there, and it was Wharton again. Yeah, Wharton might want to go to a better team than us, but I'm going to try and force him to stay here. So let's give you another 250K. These guys will be all cheap anyways. And he's rejected it again. Damn, Wharton. We're giving you way more than you're asking for at this point. Take 11.5. That would almost make you, I think, the highest paid player on this team. There you go. You are, I think, the highest paid player on this team now. So there we go. We have 22 million still in cap space, so that's why I was okay with giving him so much money. But the rest of these guys, Huxley will take a decent amount. The rest of them should take like 2-way deals almost. So that's not too bad at all. So $22 million in cap space. And let's see what we got currently as our roster on paper. And then we'll get to looking at free agents and stuff like that. So Vance obviously is going to be good, but he's going to be probably still in decline for a little bit longer. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, or 2 years left on his contract. And then I don't know if he's going to be even playing through the rest of those 2 years. Who knows? So we have Vance, we have Martins. Oh yeah, because we lost Reefers. That was a massive blow. I almost forgot about that. God damn. I was like, why do we look so weak down the middle? But yeah, losing Reefers is pretty big. I probably will use Vance as a center full-time next season, which means we might need to look to sign a second-line center in the offseason. That might be something we want to look at. So 3, 4, maybe 5 with Brown. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 with Brookbank. So I think some of these guys will probably be depth kind of options, but I think upgrading our center depth a bit would be a good thing for sure. Defensively, we got Jokela Carter, Kachuk, Brunstrom, Kaupinen, and we don't really have a sixth defenseman, so technically we could use one, but I think Benino, Fergone, or even Odie Marchessault could take that step. So technically we could look for a sixth defenseman that's more defensively minded to try and make us a better defensive team. So there's two things we could look at, and then also a backup goaltender. So we need a couple things. A top six defenseman maybe, a backup goaltender, and a second line center potentially. So let's see what there's available free agency wise, if there's anything out there. And we'll also take a look at the trading block in case we want to make more trades. Huxley already accepted. That's nice. That is nice indeed. And also we'll probably start looking for coaches at the start of the season in next episode, just because obviously that's when we'll actually be able to know our full roster and the scheme fit, or whatever you want to call it, the team fit. So let's go over to the free agent pool and see what is available this year, if there's any good players that could turn the tides of this team for the remaining years. Let's go UFA only. So in terms of centers, if we want to look for a second line center, you're looking at somebody like a Crowder, Marty Crowder. Solid player, 50-something points, but not the most insane player in the world. But there's Crowder. I mean, there's these guys as well, but these guys are like first liners. One's a grinder, which is kind of cool. Lucas Earl, he's already 32. And Quincy Olchuk, who's only 25. Former 4th overall pick of the Dallas Stars. So there's those guys. But also for second liners, we got Bobby Lawson, 50-something points this season. Not bad. Former 6th overall pick. And you also have Edgar Clark listed as a second liner as an 83. This guy seems like a pure passer almost, in a sense. Good shooting category, though. So I don't really know if any of those guys would be great to have as a second line center is the thing. So we might have to honestly try to bring in the best option, which is Crowder technically. But I don't really know at that year's wanted in that asking price. So, or we could try using like a left winger as a center if they have good face-off numbers. So there's that. And then in terms of other forwards, we got like Loktionov that's there, Eaton, Darby. There's some good options definitely out there for forwards if we want to upgrade our forward core more. But obviously we don't really have a constraint with cap, but we want to be mindful of our cap just in case. Because obviously we don't want to be loading this team up so much in cap, because obviously we'd have to find a way to kind of like free up some of that cap eventually. I thought that was the Laura kind of we used to draft, or we drafted way back. We let this guy just go to free agency one year, and he actually signed a contract with St. Louis, played 3 years with them in the NHL, and was actually pretty consistent. That's actually really impressive. Like almost 50-point seasons for him. Damn, I wish I would kind of held on to this guy. I didn't realize he was going to be that good at the NHL level. So there's that. Defensively, actually we got to look at right wingers still. Holton, is he good at face-offs? He's actually decent at face-offs, so maybe he's a good second line center. He does want a lot of money though. Eat up like half of the cap space we have left. So we got to definitely be mindful of that, because we also got to bring in a top 6 defenseman and a backup goalie. Hey, there's Lane Weeks. How's he been doing? Not bad. Yeah, he's actually done relatively well. It's good to see some of these guys are actually paying out after leaving us in a sense, but kind of hurts that they didn't really do much with us, you know. So there is all that. And then if we look at defensemen, there is Christensen. Oh my goodness, this guy, former 1st overall pick of the Islanders. This guy is a machine. Yeah, really good offensive numbers and stuff like that. Like, it would be great to have somebody like this, but it would push down some people quite a bit. And also the fact that this guy wants $12 million is a lot, but he is affordable. He's 36 already, so he's not going to want too long-term of a contract, which is good. But I don't really know if I want to bring in something like that. Like, it definitely could help out our defensive core, but there's other options out there. Like a former defenseman now we drafted in Eli Jocelyn. This guy, I didn't realize he also got to the NHL, but he has played with Dallas and St. Louis. And look, Braden Del Monte. It's like a graveyard of ex-players of ours. I was an AHLer. So there is some former options that we can bring back, but obviously we kind of tried those guys and they didn't really work with our team that well. So there is all the defenders almost. Let me go down to 78s. There we go. And then in terms of goaltenders, if we want to find ourselves a backup goalie, which I would highly recommend, there's like 4 elite goalies, geez, that are 90 plus, which is crazy. One of them being Ron Torres. But if we want to find a backup goaltender, there is some 83s, which could help solidify our goaltending quite a bit. So you got guys like Fragapane, not really that great. Brent Goulias looks pretty good based on those numbers. That was NHL-wise, too. He was a starting goalie in Winnipeg. That might not be bad. Actually, no, that's a start. That's a 91. Never mind. I was like, why is he that good? But we were trying to look at Devin instead. Oh, Dylan Devin's actually pretty good, though, too. AHL-wise, at least. He is really good at the AHL. He's never played an NHL game, and he's 25. You know, this might be a kind of guy I want to take a chance with. Never played an NHL game, and he's an 83. Why not maybe use him as a backup? Very cheap option too. So there's him. There's also Salvador Steves. Has only played 1 year in the NHL at 26, and he was fantastic as a backup. Mind you, it was for a good Sharks team, but still. That might not be bad too. There definitely is some good backup options, which is really nice because obviously we need to have some good solid goaltending if we want to win a Stanley Cup. So there is all that. I also see a lot of former goaltenders with Scavello, Pitton, etc. So it's funny. Okay, and final thing, let's take a quick look at the trading block, and then that'll be it for this episode, just to see if there's any potential trades we want to do. But I don't know if there's going to be, to be honest. But so Hamalainen is like a 4th liner, not bad. Bennett as a top 6 center. That's something we kind of need. He's actually pretty good. Yeah, Carl Bennett might not be a bad option. He doesn't fit with the old coach or the current head coach, but maybe he'll fit with the new head coach. Yeah, Carl Bennett's not bad as a pending free agent, but a lot of trade value is the only thing. Langfeld's a winger, same with Ferentz, Jackman. There's some pretty good players there in Buffalo. Calgary's got Ternasky. What else we got here? Corrado, Jamie Corrado. I forgot about this guy too. Why do I forget about these guys randomly? He's played 2 years in Colorado and his plus minus is still tragically bad. Tragically bad. But he's been pretty good offensively. That's funny. Shattenkirk as a 2nd line center is a bit weak of one, but not bad. Berkeley Catalan is there, 2 years left. Not a bad salary cap hit. There is options, which is nice. Because we could always try and bring somebody like this guy in. Oleg Jas apparently has really good passing. 46 assists last season. That might not be a bad option either. He is only already 31, which is the problem. But honestly, I don't see it being as bad of a problem if we bring in a 31-year-old to help out with our scoring on the 2nd line. So yeah, there is a lot of good players actually on the block. So we might be able to make a trade, or we could make some signings this offseason and hopefully turn this team into being more than a 1st-round exit. Chris Pritchett is also not bad, but very aggressive. 195 penalty minutes last year. So that's kind of crazy. Virtanen. Not bad. Ville Virtanen. Not bad. Yeah, that might be a good player to bring in. Not the super high value either. I like that. Humphreys as well. Another low-end center. But still, it would give us more depth. I'm excited for sure for next season, but at the same time, I know once it comes to playoff time that this game is just going to find a way to slap me in the face again. It's done it so many times already. Michael Misa would be a great 2nd line center. He is a lower overall, and he's going to probably be on decline soon. But he's on 1 year left, and last year he had 51 assists on a non-playoff team. He does seem to be pretty bad defensively, though, is the thing, no. So maybe he's somebody I would look at to bring in, but at the same time, I don't really know. Like, if he's playing with the right players, he should be able to produce, but also his plus-minus might be tragic. He might drop off a lot. Like, there's a lot of centers out there. So you guys have a lot to kind of discuss on who we should be bringing in. that's on the block if we want to bring in somebody on the block. Ninamaki. Oh man, Ninamaki's already kind of dropping off a little bit, probably because of morale. Wow, he's not had that great of a career, huh? Bounced around a lot since leaving us. Seems like a lot of our picks that we drafted and stuff like that, I thought they were going to be great, and then they just didn't do good for us. They go on to leave our team, and they either do really good or really bad. So, Mara, Person, Festerling. Person's pretty good, but a high cap hit. Not bad. Wait a sec. Is this the guy that went... this is the guy... This would be the ultimate meme to bring in for my top 6, but this guy's dropped off too much that I would not pay him 14 million bucks. Because it would be awesome to bring this guy in a way if he was making less money, because he was the guy that went before Asher Vance in the draft. That would have been hilarious. Just to meme it up a little bit, but... Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to free agency. We'll also start up the season simulation and see if we're able to play good again in the regular season. And from there, hopefully we can play good in the postseason as well. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.